Now, there's a little bit of a spat going on between State Representative Dave Agema, the Republican from Granville, and he's on the other end of our line early, too. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You, as I understand it, have asked the Attorney General to investigate the Department of Transportation. Why did you do that?
Well, there's several of us that are asking that. Connor's one of them, Papa George, myself, and Representative Opsimer. The big thing is we've been looking at this whole thing with the Drick Bridge for 3-4 years here, and some of the answers they gave to questions that we asked in appropriations, we find out that they've actually withheld some information from us. For example, they were always saying that this cost would not cost the taxpayers any money. However, some of their own documents that we've FOIA'd discovers that, in fact, it will require taxpayer money to build this. They try to say it could all be done with tolls, the tolls that come across the bridge. They said that it was necessary for traffic, and some of their own documents said the traffic's not there, so they puffed up the numbers to try to say that it was there. And the real issue, in some of the documents said, was not the lanes, it was the booths there, the customs booth. They didn't man the booths enough, and not when the traffic was high during the day. So there was a whole host of issues. The real question that somebody has to ask is this bridge necessary? Can we afford it? And why are we doing this now when it's not needed until 2035 or 2050? So one of the statements that came in the FOIA was that this is a real pink elephant, that it just cannot be done with the tolls for people going across the bridge. And we wanted to know now, where's the PricewaterhouseCoopers statement? It's never been shown to us. Where's the peer review studies, the needs analysis done by URS? We never saw it. Never saw the Canadians' investment-grade traffic study. Where are they? We paid for these. We ought to see them. In a time when we can, again, at least afford it, why are we doing this? And another question I think that's going to come up down the road is Canada offered $500 million to get this program going. Is this a quid pro quo? I mean, it's getting to the point where I want to know what's the truth and what's not the truth. And I don't think we were told the truth when I asked the questions in appropriations.
In fact, you said that MDOT flat out lied in your press release. Now, the spokesperson for MDOT, Bill Schreck, said, go ahead, investigate. We welcome the investigation and a chance to clear the air. We have nothing to hide. That's an interesting game of chicken, isn't it?
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out where the truth lies. I mean, I got the documents stating, their own documents, stating that, that the traffic wasn't there, so they puffed up the numbers. That they told us the traffic was there. I got the documents that basically say, it's not going to cost the taxpayers any money. Then there's the other issues, but however, it will cost us money. Then there's the other issues of even the sovereignty issue. If this would go through, Michigan would lose its sovereignty because a foreign entity, Canada, will have the opportunity to take property to build whatever they want to build here to complete this. So it's just full of questions in my mind. From day one when I saw this whole thing, I thought, why are they pushing this? And quite frankly, I have to wonder, where is this headed and why has it been pushed? I have to wonder whether the governor's loyalty, where is it, Canada? Is it Michigan? Is it Michigan taxpayers? I'd like to know.
There were a lot of bumpy flights yesterday across the state with these high winds and so forth and some troubles at the airport. And you were a commercial pilot and a fighter pilot. Why do people get so nervous? They really do get nervous at turbulence. Should they be?
Well, I mean, turbulence never bothered me much. The thing that bothered me most was actually thunderstorms. You get into a thunderstorm and you get hail. And then when you're at higher altitude, I mean, if you're getting hail the size of a golf ball on the ground, by the time it hits the ground, quite a bit of it's melted. The biggest fear to an airline pilot was hail and a thunderstorm up there at 35,000 feet when it's the size of a baseball that can come through your windshield. But you got to remember, airplanes fly in high winds, but like in Chicago, they'll shut down Chicago Airport when the winds reach 50 miles an hour, just out of safety reasons. Because I've already had it happen to me. If you're flying down on final and you've got gusty winds, you can have a steady wind, let's say of 40 miles an hour. That's not bad. It's not going to hurt the airplane. But then suddenly you may lose 25 knots of that because you have a gust in a different direction, and now suddenly you're right at the stall speed of the airplane. So it becomes a point of how much airspeed do you carry. If you got 50 knots of wind, how much extra do you have to carry just in case you would lose some airspeed. So, I mean, you can go from 120 knots, 130 knots, which would be a typical approach speed in American Airlines when I was flying. And if you lost 40 knots of airspeed, well, now you're not doing 120. You know, you're doing 80. You can't fly at 80. So it's a safety issue why they shut it down for winds. But just the bumpiness of it all, I mean, yeah, it can get severe. But most of the time, it's just a few lumps and bumps. Quite frankly, when I used to deadhead going from point A to point B, it kind of put me to sleep. Most people were grabbing onto the arms of their chairs. It doesn't really frighten me, the lumps and bumps. What frightens me more is a thunderstorm when you see a red dot on your radar, and you know that there's some really severe stuff going on in there.
Well, it was the wild blue yonder yesterday, and we'll rock you back to sleep now after getting up so early with us. We sure appreciate it. Representative Dave Agema from West Michigan.